Hi, I'm Michelle, and this is Someday is Here, a place where we get real, embrace the imperfect, and we show up anyway. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I think every mom knows, but almost nobody says out loud. It's not the laundry, it's not the groceries, it's not the appointments or the birthday cards or the medication schedules. It's the weight of being the one that holds it all of it, all of the time. Even when you're exhausted, even when you're sick, even when no one notices. Today, we're talking about the invisible emotional weight we carry as moms. And I'm going to be honest with you. This one is personal. There is a weight that most moms carry that has no name and no job title. It doesn't show up on a resume. Nobody gives you credit for it. And most of the time, nobody sees it. It is the constant background hum of responsibility that never turns off. The sense that everyone's safety and well-being is on you. That if something goes wrong, it's somehow your fault. That if you're not on it, it doesn't get done. That the whole thing only runs because you're running it. One of the things as I was writing my book, I noticed was that there were some pretty common themes that ran through it. And one of them is this idea that I somehow came up with that everyone's safety and well-being lives on my shoulders. And if something goes wrong, then it's going to be my fault. And the perfect example of this was the other night. I know in one of the previous podcasts I had talked about one of our children having surgery. And one of the things that they require after the surgery, because it was in a really vascular area, was that they have to take an aspirin for 4 weeks to hopefully prevent any type of like DBT or blood clot. And being the mom, I think it naturally just falls on my shoulders, right? And so I was doing really good. I was making sure I did it every night. And then Friday night, Sean and this child went out to dinner. And I wasn't feeling great, so I went to lay down while they were gone. And I woke up in the morning and I realized that the child didn't get the aspirin. And my immediate thought was, oh my gosh, it's my fault. Like if something happens, it's my fault. Mind you, there were two other individuals who very much could have handled making sure the medicine was administered. But because I had taken on that role, it truly fell on me. And I think that goes into the bigger picture of how a lot of times women end up carrying the load of these types of tasks. And a lot of times it is never a discussion that's had, when you're entering marriage or parenting, where you're like, okay, well, you're going to do this, like doctor's appointments, and I'm going to have to handle medication management, or, you're going to do this part of parenting and be the fun one. And then I'm going to be like the disciplinarian, or, the one who has to, or is the one that, is going to comfort and things like that. I think we, in a lot of ways, just naturally fall into these roles. And the problem with that is that it becomes disproportionate a lot of the times without any intentionality. And so maybe there's one of you who feels like you're carrying so much more, and you don't know how to say that out loud, or if you try to, it becomes an argument because maybe your partner feels like you're saying they're not doing anything when you're just saying, I feel like I'm carrying more emotional weight. And this is like, it is very complex because I also believe for generations, women have been raised from the time they're tiny humans that they are supposed to be the caretakers. They're supposed to be the ones that manage the families, that kiss the boo-boos, that, figure out the doctor's appointments, that remember the medications. And we're taught that from television shows, from movies, from families we're around. And so we just take it on. And we don't even notice we're carrying it. Being the one who checks in on the ones out of the house. Worrying every day while everyone else just assumes it's good news. And I don't know if it's just me, but having 2 grown children out of the house, there are often days when I really worry about, like, are they okay? Are they making good choices? Are they eating enough? Did they do their laundry? Right? And I feel like I am always the one that has to check in. Like, that has to be on top of my mind because, like, I'm not a good mom if I don't do that. Even if they don't check in with me, right? And I know part of that is just growing up and finding independence and being busy in their lives, but sometimes it feels really one-sided. And again, it's just more things that I have put on myself to carry. Or I don't know about your family dynamics, but because of both of my husband's and my careers, it often seems like I'm the one who has to rearrange my schedule or call off if something comes up. So just like with the surgery, staying on that path right now, this child has to go to physical therapy. And so because of Sean's schedules, he really isn't able to have quite as much wiggle room, I guess, as I am. And so, it means me having to move around clients or move around my own doctor's appointments or my own schedule to make sure that we can get our kid to the, for PTA. It could also be that you're the one that makes everyone feel special on their birthdays, on the holidays. You're the one getting all the gifts, ordering the cake, planning the party, or, when they're older, making the phone calls, sending the gifts ahead of time, getting them home, going there, whatever that might look like for you. And you make such a big deal out of it because you want everyone to feel special. You want everyone to know that you are so excited to celebrate them. But sometimes you rarely receive that same energy back. Sometimes I think as moms, we're held to higher standards by our children than our partners. We are just expected to always be on, to always be ready, to always answer the call, to always stay up late, pacing the floors, waiting for them to come home. We are expected to have the answers a lot of the times that we don't have. Where maybe your partner gets to be more of like the fun one they go to for games and laughter and, sarcasm. But sometimes maybe you feel like you have to have the more serious role in those dynamics. Being the one that keeps relationships alive. Like I said before, reaching out, checking in, holding it all together. Even when you're the only one doing it. For me, I have like a standing schedule of every Sunday I reach out to the children that are no longer living in our house and to my mom and to my uncle that lived with us for a long time. And a lot of times if I don't make that call, maybe I don't talk to them. And so I feel, again, like that's just another thing. And don't get me wrong, like I love being their mom, and I love hearing from them, and it is worth setting aside the time to make the call. But sometimes I think it hurts a little bit when the calls don't go both ways. Even though you know that they know they're loved and that they love you, sometimes it's just hard, and especially when you're newer at it. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about blame. This is not about pointing fingers at anyone in my life. This is about a weight that somehow found its way onto my shoulders. And I'm not even sure when it happened or how. I just know that one day I looked up and realized I was the one holding everything. And I was tired in a way that sleep wasn't going to fix. When I was writing Just Unfinished, something cracked open in me. I never realized how much the same narrative has been running through my mind for decades until I wrote it all out, put it in a book, sat with it, reread it, rewrote it, sat with it some more. And when I really reflected on what it was I was trying to say and do with this book, it was that I wanted to write it for women who have put everyone else first and forgot what it felt like to want something for themselves. How we carry all of these invisible weights and these expectations and these beliefs that we have to do it all or it's going to fall apart. Or if something bad happens because I wasn't on it, then it's my fault. Only my fault. Maybe only yours. The truth is, and it's still something I am working on, is that rarely is it our fault. We don't do this alone. We need to allow others to step in and to take accountability, whether that be your partners, your children. We don't have to carry it all. We don't have to take responsibility for everything. Carrying it all quietly for so long is exactly what my book is about. I wrote Just Unfinished for the woman who has spent years putting everyone else first and forgetting what it feels like to want something just for herself. And somewhere in the middle of writing it, I realized I was writing it for me too. I want you to know that if you're a mom that feels like you're carrying it all, I see you. I know your value and your worth simply for showing up every day and doing your very best. And I hope you do too. If you feel guilty for being frustrated or maybe a little jealous because you're the one that feels like they're carrying it all, that's okay. It really is. Maybe it's just time to have some conversations around how to take some of that weight off your shoulders. I also want to make sure I remind you that you matter too. Your wants, your dreams, your passions, They get to exist, and they should exist right alongside everyone else that you love, that you have been supporting, and making sure that they get to achieve everything they want to achieve. So do you. You deserve that. If you are carrying something invisible right now, if you are the one who remembers everything and manages everything and worries about everything while everyone else sleeps soundly, I want you to hear this. You are not too much. You are not crazy. You are not weak for feeling the weight of it. You are just someone who loves deeply and gives fully. And you deserve someone to notice that, including yourself. Just Unfinished is coming, and I wrote it for you. Until next time, I'm Michelle, and this is Someday Is Here.